Have you ever really wanted to hit someone in the face with a car, but just don't want to go to jail? Then I have a deck for you. Aster, Bearer of Blades, is the perfect vehicles commander. At only 4 mana, he buys you some great card advantage, in Boros no less, and makes all of your crew and equip costs 1, which must be a typo or something. It's wild, and we're gonna have some fun. So let's hop right in the driver's seat and talk strategy. In Magic, solid stats are usually balanced out by large mana costs. Some vehicles and equipment with low mana costs get around this by tacking on a high equip or crew cost. The 2 best examples here are Consulate Dreadnought and Colossus Hammer, only costing 1, but with high equip and crew costs. And you can probably see where I'm going with this, but Aster completely ignores all of that and allows us to keep our entire deck on a pretty low mana curve. To put into perspective just how wild this is, given a perfect hand with a Soul Ring, 2 lands, and a Consulate Dreadnought, we can swing for 7 on turn 2. Add in a Colossus Hammer and we're swinging for 17 on turn 3. This specific combination would require a ton of luck to pull off, sure, but it can happen, and it kind of encapsulates the entire strategy here. Duct taping big equipment to our vehicle and ramming it into our opponents without worrying about any of those pesky costs. Some of my other favorites here are Blackblade Reforged, Commander's Plate, and Weatherlight Completed, which doesn't even normally have a crew cost, but gets one from Aster and becomes a 5/5 flyer for 2. To get to the vehicles we want, we'll need a lot of card advantage. Or car advantage, anyone? No? Which isn't traditionally Boros' strong suit, but fortunately we have some obvious suspects here with SRAM Senior Edificer and Esper Sentinel, who mixes extremely well with our equipment, by the way. We have some great vehicles, with a huge shout out to Mighty Servant of Luco, which does way more work than I ever thought it would, and the Smuggler's Copter. Or the Fortnite Battle Bus if you want to take the L on the haters and get that sick victory royale. We have a brand new toy from the Brothers War with Sandwell Avenger Ace, who digs every single time he crews one of our vehicles, and of course, our commander. Aster digs through almost a 10th of our library every single time he enters the battlefield. For this ETB specifically, I've included some blink effects, which brings me to one of my favorite cards in recent history, the Golden Argosy. It easily gets us extra ETBs from our commander, but it's also a fantastic way to take the lead at the table. Since it blinks its entire crew until the end of turn, we can crew the Golden Argosy with all of our creatures, blink them until end of turn, wipe the field, and still get all of our creatures back at the end step. How's that for utility? Which, side note here, it turns out board wipes are phenomenal with vehicles. And if we're gonna run vehicles, we're gonna need creatures to crew the vehicles. Since all crew costs are 1 with Aster on the field, all of our creatures fill this role pretty well. But I also leaned a little bit into token generation here. I don't need to tell you how absolutely bonkers Elspeth is, and Comet is such a good boy. And there's also a really fun interaction here with the reconfigure creatures from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. For example, with Aster on the field, we can cast Lizard Blades, use it to crew any vehicle, then equip it to the vehicle to give it double strike. And I don't know about you, but the image of a lizard holding 2 swords, slamming on the gas, and running outside to duct tape himself to the windshield of the Fortnite Battle Bus is pretty hilarious to me. Just don't forget to thank the bus driver. Now, before we talk about winning, first of all, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below if you enjoy these kinds of no-nonsense, straight-to-the-point deck techs. But I also want to shout out a couple more pieces that have done some work for me. The Reaver Cleaver is absolutely disgusting, and I love it. Vehicles tend to lean on the mid to high end of power toughness, so we'll usually be netting a decent amount of treasure here. Nautiloid Ship is an awesome graveyard hate piece against those Reanimator decks, but also allows us to grab the creatures exiled with it on combat damage. Surge Hacker Mech has done more work than I ever would have expected as a piece of removal, but also functions as a solid 5/5 body with Menace. You can also pair it with a 0-cost Clown card to add 2 more points of damage for free on the ETB, which Clown card is also awesome in this deck as a way to make some more crewmates or hit our opponents with another big vehicle. Lita, Mechanical Engineer, is brand new from Jumpstart 2022 and gives us 5/5 flying beat sticks or blockers at instant speed, but also untaps all of our vehicles and artifact creatures at the beginning of our end step. Board wipes, as I mentioned earlier, are extremely good in vehicle decks, so long long as we can rebuild our crew. Tempered steel significantly buffs all of our vehicles, but also makes it easier for our artifact creatures to crew the vehicles when we don't have our commander out. And finally, protection and unblockable effects can make it easier to get through our opponent's defenses when they have a board full of creatures. Now, winning with this deck is pretty straightforward. We're a Boros vehicles deck. We turn vehicles sideways and get bonus points for hitting pedestrians. That's pretty much it. But if you look at my list, link in the description, you'll notice I've also included the Mech Titan core, which feels absolutely incredible to assemble and is 100% the ideal win condition of this deck. And I've also included Halo Fountain as an alternate win condition. It's usually just a great way to make some crewmates or draw some cards, but the potential is definitely there to pull off its ultimate ability. I've managed to get extremely close a few times myself, and that about sums it up. I've honestly had a ton of fun piloting this list, and I hope you do too. If there are any commanders you want to see deck text for, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to come hang out and talk Magic, I just started a brand new Discord server for this YouTube channel. Link in the description. Until next time, I hope you have a magical The Gathering day.